Hello students, we are studying the chapter Climate and Adaptation, and in the last class we have studied about weather and climate, factors affecting the climate of the earth as whole. In this module we are going to study about climate of a place, weather of a place, specially designed instruments. So coming to climate of a place. So on the earth, climate of a place depends on many factors such as distance from the equator, height above the sea level, distance from the sea and mountain, and so on. Let us study about it one by one. The first one is distance from the equator. So the places closer to the equator are warmer than the places closer to the poles. And this is because the sun rays fall directly on the equator at an angle on the poles. Let us study this thing with the help of this picture. This one is the sun, this is the earth. As you can see in this picture, this is the equator part. And here at the equator, the sun rays falls directly on it, while on the poles, it fall at an angle, or you will see the line is slanty in nature or slant in nature. So here this ray cover less distance than that comparison to this ray which is fall on the pole area. So this rays which fall on the equator cover less distance, so the intensity of the warmth of the sun is more in equator with comparison to the rays which fall on the poles at an angle. So the reason is that the sun rays falls directly on the equator. If it falls directly, it covers less distance, so the intensity of the warmth is more. While this at the poles, the sun rays falls at an angle. If it falls at an angle, the line will be slant and it covers more distance. That's why the warmth of the sun decreases here. So that's why the main reason behind that distance from the equator, how it affects the climate, that the sun rays falls directly on the equator at angles on the poles. So the places closer to the equator are warmer than the places closer to the poles. Other one is height above sea level and distance from the sea and mountains. So one thing is there, why do people visit hill stations during summer? Why they visit hill station? They do so because hill stations have a cooler climate than the plains. So why they are having the cooler climate? The higher a place is, the cooler the environment and the cooler its atmosphere is. Okay. So the sea has a moderating influence on the climate of a place. The places near the coast are neither too hot nor too cold. That means the places near to the coast having moderate climate. For example, the climate of Chennai, even Mumbai, has moderate climate. Why? Because it is just near to the sea. And the main reason behind that, due to the land and the sea breeze, which we are going to study about this thing, about land and sea breeze in temperature and heat chapter. So the places near to the coast are neither too hot nor too cold, means it is having the moderate climate. On the other hand, places far away from the sea tend to have extreme climates with very hot and very cold winter. Means when you move away from the sea, the climate becomes extreme in nature. It becomes extremely hot or extremely cold in nature. While the Himalaya also affect the climate of North India. This is how the mountains is going to affect the climate. Mountains can change or even stop winds and also influence rainfall in a place. So the sea has moderate influence, whether the coastal area is having moderate climate, and when you move away from the coastal areas, when you move away from the sea, the climate becomes extreme in nature, means it becomes either very cold or either very hot. Even the mountains also affect the climate of North India. Which mountain? Himalaya. How it affects? The mountains can change or even stop winds and also influence rainfall in a place. This is how the height above sea level and distance from the sea and mountains affect the climate of a place. Now coming to the weather of the place. Weather of a place is mainly affected by two things, that is temperature and other one is humidity. Now coming to temperature. So the temperature on any day depends on the amount of sunlight received. That's why in daytime the environment is warmer than at the night time, because during the daytime Earth receives a sunlight. It is generally cooler during the night than in the daytime. The temperature may be many degrees in urban areas than in rural areas. Why? Because due to pollution. In urban areas, the pollution is more. That's why the temperature can be affected with by this pollutions. And urban areas may be having higher degree than the rural areas. So there are so pollution is one of the factors which affect the temperature. Even the higher density of people, houses, less number of trees also affecting the temperature. So weather of a place is affected by temperature. Why? Because temperature is one of the element of the weather. Okay. So during the daytime, it is quite warmer than during the night time. A temperature also affected by different things, that is pollution, higher density of people and houses, less number of trees. Now coming to humidity. So the amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere determines humidity. A drier places will have lower humidity than the coastal areas. Means the places which is near to the sea, like Kolkata, Mumbai, Chennai, they are having the high humidity environment. Why? It is just closer to the sea. Due to that sea, it is having the high humidity. While the places away from the sea is dry in nature. Okay, such as Delhi and Uttar Pradesh. So humidity of a region is usually higher in the rainy season than during summer and winter season. So the humidity is higher in the rainy season because the earth receives rainfall, a place receives a rainfall at that time, and due to that rain, the water vapor content increases in the environment. So humidity of a region is usually higher in rainy season than during summer and winter season. So there are two factors which affect the weather of a climate. The first one is temperature, other one is humidity. So the temperature of any place depends upon the amount of sunlight receives. Other thing is that it also depends upon the pollution, higher density of people, houses, less number of trees also. Other thing is humidity. Humidity also determines the weather of a place. Drier places will have lower humidity than the coastal areas, or the humidity of region usually higher in the rainy season with comparison to the summer and winter season. Now for calculating this humidity, temperature and even amount of rainfall, some instruments are designed. Let us understand about specially designed instruments. So the special thermometer called maximum minimum thermometer is used to measure the maximum and minimum temperatures in a day. This one is the maximum minimum temperature, and you have seen the maximum minimum temperature in newspaper also. It is given there, the maximum minimum temperature of a day. So this maximum and minimum temperature is measured by the help of a thermometer, and the name of that thermometer is maximum minimum thermometer. And the other one is the relative humidity of the air is measured by an instrument called hygrometer. This one is the hygrometer, which measures the relative humidity of the air. Other one is the rain gauge. The amount of rainfall is measured by an instrument called rain gauge. So the amount of rainfall in a particular place is measured by the help of instrument. The name of that instrument is rain gauge. So these three instruments are there. The first one is maximum minimum thermometer, other one is hygrometer, other one is rain gauge. Maximum minimum for calculating maximum minimum temperature. Other one is hygrometer is for calculating relative humidity. Rain gauge is for measuring the amount of rainfall in a particular region. So today we have studied about factors affecting the climate of a place, in which we have seen how the distance from the equator, height above the sea level and distance from the sea and mountains affects the climate of a place. And also we have studied what are the different factors affecting the weather of a place, in which we have studied about two factors, that is temperature and humidity. And lastly we have studied about specially designed instrument, in which we have studied about maximum minimum thermometer, hygrometer and rain gauge. So this is an assignment which is based on what we have studied today. Go through these questions, try to solve it. Thank you.